When it comes to real estate, everything matters. Whether you're a realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title is here to inform, entertain, and inspire you. Host Bill Napick from Stewart Title will talk with guests about what really matters when it comes to owning, buying, and selling real estate. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title starts right now. Here's your host, Bill Napick.
Welcome to the show, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Thank you for joining us, yes, on another radio adventure as we go forth. Like he said, entertain, inform, and inspire. We have all kinds of great content today. I am going to get started right now. We have Mr. Bill Baldwin with Boulevard Realty. He is right here somewhere. In some circles, he is known as Mr. Heights, but we'll call him Bill Baldwin today. Bill, welcome to the show.
Bill, glad to be here again. Thanks for having me.
And we think of people here far and wide, certainly here in Houston, Texas, but even beyond, we get feedback when people wonder about the Heights. Let's tell people, first of all, about your company, and tell them about the Heights.
Boulevard Realty is a boutique residential real estate firm that has 65 agents and 18 employees. We're located in the Heights and also on Kirby in West University Place and in Galveston. And we focus on neighborhood real estate, really creating a relationship with individuals and giving back to the communities in which we serve. So we want to build up those neighborhoods, make them safer, cleaner, greener, and a place where everyone wants to live, work, and play. And the secret of the Heights is out finally after 20 or 30 years. And so people definitely, they come to the Heights to eat now, and then they come to play, and then they try and come to live. It's a little harder than it used to be.
And sometimes they buy real estate there, too.
Do.
And that part is getting a little more expensive. I don't know about harder, but it is a little more expensive these days. But let's, for example, Bill, let's say somebody might be in my home state, which is Pennsylvania, and we have a lot of listeners there in Pennsylvania after the broadcast. However, let's paint a picture in case they don't know what the Heights may look like. Paint that, if you get the canvas out and the brush. Go ahead, paint that picture.
It was a typical turn-of-the-century craftsman bungalow type of environment. It really was its own city, so it was an incorporated city that was designed to be a wide variety of people. We had different segments of the Heights, which was working-class people in Norhill Heights, middle-class individuals in Woodland Heights, more affluent people in Houston Heights, and it really was an area where people could live, work, and play. It was a commuter subdivision. We had a little rail card that connected you to downtown at the turn of the century, and it's just evolved. But it was typical bungalow, kind of craftsman style, some larger Victorians, typical of the country. It had some problems during World War II and III, a little white flight in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, became a more rental community, just kind of underutilized, in some decline there by the 70s. But in the 80s, people kind of realized its proximity to downtown. They wanted to get back into an urban environment. And the character of these houses are what initially drew the people to the area. It's one of the only architectural styles that's still left in our city. We've torn down most of those bungalows in Bel Air, Westview, or Montrose, and replaced them with other housing stock. In the Heights, we mostly renovated. And there is some new construction, of course, but it's a unique character. But what really makes the Heights work is that it was its own city, so there was businesses and schools and housing all together. And we've continued that trend. It's still, I used to tell people 20 years ago I had to drive into Montrose to eat and I had to go to the Galleria to shop. Now I don't have to leave the Heights. We have more restaurants than we can eat at, and we have plenty of retail, and that's what I think makes it. It's not a cookie-cutter neighborhood. It has variety. We have apartment complexes where people who are students and can work in the neighborhood and then still live there. We have all types of housing, big, small, modern, craftsman style. And so it's the variety that I think makes it work.
And it is also a place where you could see many front porches. And in fact, by that standard, let's say in the Heights, many builders outside of the Heights area are incorporating porches because that is just, when you mention community and the live, work, and play idea, the porch is just fun.
I think what we've learned over time is the typical suburban house where you drive into your garage from the street and you hang out in your backyard is one type of lifestyle. What we see in the Heights, and it is because the land is smaller and we have these porches, people mix and mingle in their yards, on their streets, the mothers with the stroller, the dog walkers, the runners, the bikers, the walkers, people doing things out, and they intermix with one another in a sense of community that you don't often get in the suburbs. And so the porches are part of that situation. They're not only beautiful to look at, but they're practical. When people know their neighbors, they respect their neighbors, and they want to be with one another. I tell people, don't move to the Heights if you don't want to have a glass of wine with your next door neighbor, because that's really what it's about, looking after one another, sharing, and having that sense of community. There's great pride in our neighborhood.
And you have been in the Heights for how many years as a resident? And
22 years ago, I started over in a $300 garage apartment on 1134 Dunbar, so I've been there and haven't left since.
And that garage apartment is probably worth a whole lot right now. It's one of the, I don't know if it's the most appreciating area of Houston, but it's got to be right there.
It's consistently appreciated. I mean, that's what I would say. We haven't gone through any real period of decline in those 22 years. And yes, it's gotten unaffordable for many people. I mean, young people used to move to the Heights. My average client 20 years ago was probably a 26-year-old female lawyer, in her first year of law practice. Now it's her parents. They're moving back from the suburbs. They're moving back from Memorial. They're moving back from a big house where they don't use the media room or the pool or the golf course anymore. They want to live in a more character-driven home, closer to their grandchildren, closer to the things that they want to do. So they're willing to sacrifice quality, size for quality, really.
If you were to take the crystal ball out right now and look ahead, here we are at the end of the year. Give us an idea how we're going to wind up and how we're going to look next year in the Heights.
We're continuing to get density, which gives us greater opportunity for retail. Even the redevelopment along Shepherd and Durham have been tremendous opportunities of what was once a derelict, used car kind of street now has hip new restaurants, wine bars, donut shops, ice cream shops. And so the Heights continues to grow. I'm always amazed at what people call the Heights. Now it's like, North Houston is just South Heights in reality. But we continue to go to areas that give people an opportunity to live there at a certain price point. So it's just going to continue to grow and develop and do great.
The Heights is like Houston, bursting at the seams in every direction. When does it stop? It's fascinating to be a part of Houston at this point in time and wherever you live. Bill, give us an idea. You mentioned as far as the community. You have been active in so many ways in our community, certainly the Heights, but you are actually running for, let's tell people, the office that you're running for.
After 20 years
and where do you get the time
service,
to do that?
Yes, I decided to run for city council. I'm running for city council at large, so it's the entire city, 669 square miles. I want to bring my neighborhood-centric approach to development and the concerns of quality of life of people and put them to work for people at City Hall. So that election's November 5th. Early voting starts October 21st. It's going to be here before you know it. I hope we can just bring common sense, practical approaches to what is a local situation to City Hall.
Indeed. And as far as, and I was kind of kidding, but it is so important. I guess if you want something done, you have someone that's busy to do it, to do something, but how do you have time from a time management standpoint? You are leading a company with, I think, 60-some agents, and you're active in the community, and you're running for office. From a time management, what is it that you have done these many years to be able to be so organized?
I'm fortunate to have great loyalty, so a number of my staff have been with me 15, 16, 17, 18 years. My personal assistant, my office manager, my listing coordinators, they've been with me, 15 to 17 years, so that helps a lot. We've got a system. I'd already been a volunteer of about 40 hours a week anyway the last 4 or 5 years, so I'm very good at multitasking. I really do have a very good schedule. I wake up about 6:30. I work till 9:30 or 10. I then go run at Memorial Park. I come back at 11.
In the evening?
No, in the morning.
Oh,
That's my
okay.
break. That's so I don't have a heart attack. That's the 1 hour I don't have my phone with me. And then we have lunch. I pay for lunch for my staff so that we sit together and multitask again together. And then we go out, show houses in the afternoon. I work in the evening. I work Saturdays and Sundays. You can get a lot done with this little cell phone. My clients understand that giving back is important, and they want someone that's community-minded and civic-minded. They're willing to sacrifice an hour or two of my time in order to get a better city. So,
systems and procedures, right?
That's it.
And let's, as far as many people probably want to know I do, real estate to begin with. Of all the things you could be doing, Why did you even get involved in real estate those many years ago?
You know, it's the wide variety of people and it's really what makes the city. I get to meet fascinating people every day in different aspects of their life. Recent college graduates, people at their first job, people who are divorcing, people who are learning to live without a spouse, and these homes give them sense of identity. And you're never bored in Houston because you can be in a high-rise, a condominium, a townhouse, a single-family house, a little bungalow. Every little neighborhood has its own feel and flair, and so there's great variety and a great opportunity for people to have that sense of community. So it's given me this great opportunity to meet people that you just want to be with. We only do business with people that we would go and have a drink with. Honestly, it's good. So they're never about a sale. It's about a relationship, and forming those relationships over 2 decades has really been the most beneficial thing of my life. I find it extremely rewarding, and I love homes, but I love the people that we get to deal with in all of our industry, the mortgage brokers, the title companies, the appraisers, the inspectors. I mean, they love their city and they love their jobs as well.
Indeed they do. And with the last minute or so in this segment, Bill, what else would you like people to know?
I mean, we go to our website, yourblvd.com, and see, but come to our office. We have a brand new, beautiful office. The rest of the world's cutting back, and I'm expanding at the exact same time. We have a really creative space called Your Space at 927 Studewood. It's free community space, free wine, free beer, free conference room, free Wi-Fi. Come in and take a look there. Use the facilities. It's open for all kinds of activities if you'd like. Look at our website. We have yoga on the balconies on Sundays. It's all free. All of these activities are free.
So it's free?
It's free.
Yoga on the balcony?
Yoga on the balcony.
I like that idea.
It's a really fun idea. So
Super
come
fun.
and see and check us out or whatever, and really we're about a sense of community.
No doubt about it. And your campaign site is, I love this, baldwinforhouston.com.
Yes.
How easy is that?
Hopefully you can remember it, baldwinforhouston.com.
Baldwin, ladies and gentlemen, Bill Baldwin. Once again, your company website is?
yourblvd.com, like Your Boulevard abbreviated.
There you go. Bill Baldwin. Thank you, Bill, for being back on the show, and we're going to come right back with even more. Stay with us, please. Stewart Insurance is proud to sponsor Real Estate Matters. As a Stewart company, we focus on uniting real estate and insurance. Our goal is for all clients to be properly insured. When you are properly insured, you're confident in the insurance decisions you make. Whether it's professional liability or homeowner's insurance, everyone deserves to be confident. We invite you to join the properly insured Stewart Insurance. Connect with us at stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. That's 866-798-2827. Stewart Insurance, stewartinsurance.com. And here we go. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. We continue this awesome adventure. We're going to talk about, the Heights once again with Glenda Winburn. She is with Porchlight Realtor right there on Heights Boulevard. How appropriate. Glenda, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Appreciate having me here.
It is awesome. And, people just, first of all, they love the Heights, and they even like talking about it, almost like it's food. People love talking about food. I do. But let's tell people your company, first of all, Porchlight Realtors. You can't forget that. I don't think even if you want to. That's a very catchy name. Let's tell people about your company.
Thanks. I am a little bit different in my approach on how I do my business. I'm a non-competing broker, which means I'm really concentrating on actually supporting and delivering for my agents. Those are my clients. And so I decided that a long time ago, people run a real estate company, but they're always just kind of running it on the side versus actually doing it. And I decided that I was going to just say, I'm going to put away selling for now, and I'm going to run the business. And my clients are going to be my agents, and I'm going to support them in everything that they need from me. I often say that the rising tide lifts all boats. So if you can pull up all of your agents, that's going to pull up your entire business.
And that's a great idea from leadership in any organization, whether it's real estate or anything else. Give us an idea, Glenda, as we are here in the last quarter of the year, we're looking ahead to 2020. Super exciting stuff right there. First of all, I love this time of year anyway, but let's tell people, as far as this year, if you were to look back and say, how did we do? How did the Heights do? from the real estate overview? How was it?
The Heights has always done fantastic. I've lived in the Heights since '96. I'm a third generation Heights resident. My parents lived there and my grandparents lived there. And when my husband and I got married, we moved there because we liked the uniqueness of the neighborhood. I didn't want to live in a neighborhood where every house looked exactly the same. I wanted a neighborhood where the houses were unique and different, and obviously that's what it is. And obviously people have discovered that. And so the Heights
From far and wide, they
from
sure
far
have.
and wide, yes. And so the people have come and they've bought and they've remodeled and they've done what you would expect in a great, cute little neighborhood. Is they've taken it in, they've loved on it, and they've built it up. And the business has gotten better. Obviously, growth has come. There's been a lot more of new builds in the neighborhood, so that obviously puts the price point a little bit higher. And it's had its challenges too. I mean, it's had the historic district obviously separates those that can be remodeled and those that cannot, and that makes a big difference when you talk about price points for those that can be remodeled without the historic district tend to price a little bit better. They're a little bit more desirable because people don't want to have to conform to all of the historic district requirements that they are giving out. So it makes a little bit different. So different parts of the Heights obviously are a little bit more desirable than others, but overall it's been fantastic. It's gone really well this year. And I don't see, if my crystal ball's out there, I don't see it stopping. It's doing really well.
It is interesting. I don't see it stopping either, but it's also, I anticipate how exciting it's going to be next year in all areas of Houston, because it is a phenomenal city real estate-wise, and I think people gather that certainly here in Houston and those that tune in from afar, but the Heights especially. Let's tell people why it's called the Heights in a nutshell.
When the neighborhood was built, it was built above Houston, so it was higher than downtown Houston, and so it became the Heights because it sat up so much higher than downtown. And obviously with the flooding and all of that, the Heights is the Heights because we don't flood. And so you'll see that with Harvey, with the past,
Melda.
Exactly. We don't flood because we sit higher than the rest, and that's desirable. And it's a good, comforting feeling for buyers to know that, we've gone through all these storms and wow, we made it through. Nobody really flooded. It's a good thing because nobody wants to have to deal with a flooded house. They don't. So that's the reason they called it the Heights.
Very, very interesting. Now, in your company, again, as we're talking with Glenda Winburn, her company is called Porch Light Realtors, and you live in the Heights.
I do.
Does your home have a porch?
It does have a porch.
How about that?
Yes.
I was guessing if you'd have said no, I'd be like, okay, you better get one, right?
It has a nice wraparound porch with a couple of rockers and a table and chairs out there to have dinner.
See that? For our friends that listen afar, they're getting a super pig. Do you have a dog?
I do have a dog, yes.
And I bet dogs, not only people love porches, but dogs must go. If I were a dog, I'd be on the porch. I'd never leave.
Right.
Except
she
for dinner
does
time.
sit out on the porch, and she's very good. She maintains herself. She doesn't run off the porch. But we also have a garage apartment, so we often have dinner with our neighbor, who is our tenant, on top of that. So it's fun. It's a good time.
You're making me think about that. We need to do a show just on garage apartments because I have seen some spectacular ones in desirable neighborhoods like the Heights and even beyond. Let's tell people, as far as real estate goes, you can be doing a lot of different things in your life, but you chose real estate. What is it you love about it these many years?
I chose real estate a long time ago. I've been doing this for 17 years. And the reason I chose was I was originally a project manager for a very well-known computer company that's here in the city. And I got laid off from the computer company. And at the time, my husband and I had bought our first home that had a garage apartment, and we were renting that out ourselves. And so I looked at rental as, wow, I'm doing this. I'm already involved in real estate and renting out my own personal space. And when I started looking at real estate, I started realizing it's a project manager position. You're managing each person's transaction. So I kind of related to, I have the skills for that. I also had worked in the mortgage industry, and I also had worked in the title company industry. So I had those background pieces to all put together. So I look back and think all of my working experience led me into doing real estate. and it's been fantastic, and I love it.
It's always fun to be able to use our skills and abilities and combine them in a way that benefits people and that we have fun too, right?
True. I mean, you have to get up and go to work every day. It sure is nice that it's fun, right?
Exactly. That is so awesome. Now, as far as let's say someone is a seller or wants to sell their home in the Heights, and you meet with them on a listing appointment, or one of your agents does. How is that person being coached? What's the best way to coach someone that is going to sell their home in the Heights?
There's lots of things that they should probably do ahead of time. And that's one of the things that we talk about in our listing appointments is we walk through the house individually with them, point out certain things that need to be done. We want to make sure the yard looks great because curb appeal is really important. If you don't like the way they look from the front, they're going to just drive by. Heights houses are unique, so there's often things that are just kind of quirky about Heights houses. So you kind of take the
Heights
good
houses. Say that real fast. Heights
Exactly.
houses
Heights
in Houston. Yeah. Okay.
So they're unique, and so you want to look at what's unique for that particular person. You know, what's their challenge? What do you think that they can do to make it better? And give them a list of things that they're doing. They're looking for you to be the expert. They're looking for you to tell them, in order to get the top dollar, what do I need to do to my house to make it sell quickly? They want it to sell quickly. That nobody wants to sit on the market. Often say we're not in the business of collecting listings, we're in the business of selling listings. So
that's a good word.
Yeah, it is what it is. So they want to know, what can we do to get our home sold quickly? And all of my agents have excessive experience, 15, 20, 25 years. So they know what to do. They know how to tell the seller that this is what you should do. And they listen to them. And sure enough, the houses just go because they know what they're doing.
Quick word on, let's say the buyer comes to you, or someone that may live in Katy, and they say, Glenda, I want to live in the Heights. What should I know to be prepared for that buying? And they're pre-approved or they have cash. So let's get that out of the way. But what should they know about buying in the Heights right now?
Well, I'd ask them what their priorities are. Is their priority, do they have children? Do they want to go to certain elementary school or middle school? Learn local is a big one. So each school has its own personality. Do you want to do that? How many bedrooms and bathrooms do you want? Do you want rental property?
I want a garage apartment.
Exactly. Do you want a garage apartment in the
Yes.
back? It's a great thing to have. You control your neighbor, and you get income from it to begin with. So it's a great thing. So you start asking them, what are their priorities? What are the things that they feel are important? And sometimes they don't know. You have to just drive them around
right.
and say, here's this part of the Heights. And each part of the Heights has its own personality as well. So, Woodland Heights is definitely different than Houston Heights. If you want to live in a bungalow that's brick, that's going to limit you. Do you want to live in a two-story that's maybe hardy plank or original wood siding? That's going to limit you as well. Where do you want to go with that? And once you start drilling down into what their real priorities are, it's easy to find them something.
And Glenda, before we close out this segment, what would you like people to know? And also, how can they reach you?
They can reach me at porchlightrealtors.com. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. Both of those are Porchlight Realtor. My phone number is 713-539-5906. And that's the office number as well as my own number. They transfer into my cell phone, so you can reach me at all the time.
There you go. Glenda Winburn, Porchlight Realtors, 713-539-5906. And she lives in a house with a porch. That's awesome. Thank you for being on the show, Glenda.
Great.
We're coming right back. Stay with us, please.
Thanks.
If you are a real estate professional, please listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, home buyers, sellers, and title agents, and their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your real estate business is properly insured. Connect with us at stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. And here we go. I think we're going to talk about the Heights again. This might even be a Heights show, but now we have Diana Dow with Circa Real Estate, and yes, they are in the Heights. Diana, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And first, we want to say hi to your broker there, Mary. She's probably listening to the show right now, right?
I'm sure she is.
There's no doubt about it. Let's tell people your perspective. You are right there at Circa real estate. And let's tell people your perspective on real estate right now in the Heights and how you're approaching your work.
Real estate in the Heights is great. We've had a lot of activity this year. It's been a great year so far. I think a lot of folks are still definitely looking in the Heights. It's a very highly desirable area. And so we've got a lot of activity. A lot of buyers are looking, and a lot of sellers are also there. They have growing families looking for bigger properties. And so it's a great place.
And I would think, I'm guessing, certain sellers that you probably are advising them when they're putting their home on the market that you better be ready because it might sell real quick.
Exactly. We've talked about that. We talk about potentially if they need a lease back on their home. So once they've sold it, do they need some time to transition and get a lease back from their buyer? And that usually affects which offers they look at accepting, is how much flexibility do those buyers have.
And I'm glad you said the word offers. In your experience, just let's say out of the last 10 offers that you've been a part of in listings, how many of them are cash offers?
We've had some. We still have some cash offers, not as many as I've been seeing in a few years ago when it was really crazy in the market, but there still are some. And I think even in a multiple offer situation, people are realizing that there could be other cash offers on the table. And so if they're financing, they're coming in a lot stronger. And I've seen people waiving the appraisal contingency on that due to there potentially being other cash offers.
And as you mentioned that, it dawns on me again that there's so many components to a real estate transaction. And I'm thinking about the average person that's selling or buying a home every whatever amount of years, 7, 5, however it happens. You're in this world every day. And people out there listening that are thinking, well, I want to sell my home or I want to buy a home. There are just so many components to it. They have to have a top realtor like yourselves to guide them through the process.
Yes.
That sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
There's
you
definitely,
would agree with that.
There's so many moving parts and pieces.
There are.
And until you're really in it, you don't realize how many moving parts and pieces there truly are. So I would highly advise and suggest for anyone to have a licensed agent represent them.
Yes, and someone top-notch like yourself. But the other thing is, it seems part of the role of the real estate agent like you is coaching them along the way, because as there are so many of these components coming at them, and sometimes there's a surprise or two, maybe a problem with the house, whatever, I mean, you have to keep them on track.
Yes, definitely. And I always say, even with every transaction, you can have everything lined up the way it's supposed to. Inevitably, there's going to be a hiccup or something that's just unforeseen or not planned for. And so those are really, really the moments that you want to make sure you have an agent representing you, knowing how to navigate that challenge to help get you through that in the least stressful way possible. And that having that experience is really what helps your clients through that, because I mean, it's overwhelming. It's their largest purchase most of the time. It's their largest investment. So they really want to know what they're doing. And I think having someone guide them through that is definitely key.
And from a mindset standpoint, as far as you're concerned, how do you keep them on track? How do you keep the transaction on track? What are the things you're thinking about to keep that right?
So I always meet with my clients before we start any transaction. I give them an overview of what steps to expect in the timeline and the process of what to expect, just to have expectations there set out to begin with so we have a framework. As we're going through each step in the process, then I'm talking them through that as well, giving them more detail and more insight into that particular step, what action items they need to be doing and thinking about, and also just being a step ahead of them, being proactive, being 3 steps ahead of them to know what they should be expecting next and what they should be doing. That way the timeline continues to progress as it should.
And as far as real estate, how did you choose real estate as your profession?
I kind of fell into it, actually. I have a roundabout background of how I got into real estate, actually. So I got my degree in college. My undergrad is in accounting and my master's is in marketing. So my first job out of college was actually in retail. I was an assistant buyer at Neiman Marcus in Dallas. When I moved back down to Houston, I actually worked in public accounting. So I'd interned in public accounting prior to that and spent 4.5 years at PricewaterhouseCoopers in accounting, and which accounting and real estate, very different. But I ended up purchasing my first home while I was there at PwC in accounting. I ended up leaving accounting, going into a marketing role with Memorial Herman. And when I left Herman is when I got into real estate. So when I purchased my home until then, I was always very interested in it. And the broker who I worked with to purchase my house always said I should do real estate, that I'd be really great at it. And I didn't give it much weight until a couple of years later. And once I tried it out, I was hooked.
Well, it's interesting.
No turning back.
And we have had many brokers on this show. This is show number 296. I'm just having a flashback of all the brokers. And, you know, the brokers far and wide seem to have a certain sense of who can do well in real estate. And they've done a very good job of recruiting. You mentioned marketing. It makes me think of the idea that what you learned about marketing in your other business, how have you applied that to real estate? Because that's such an important part. I mean, this is, there's a lot of competition here in real estate. Definitely. And marketing is a big part. What do you use for marketing?
I think the marketing has definitely helped in lots of different aspects of real estate, whether it's your branding, your image, what you want to convey. And really, it's a relationship business, I think. And so being able to market yourself to your clients, whether they're buying, whether they're selling, I think is a huge component to it. And it's ironic, I do apply my accounting background, I feel like, to what I do now as well.
That would be very important, yeah.
So both sides, the marketing and the accounting both, I think I can find ways that it's applicable.
That is awesome. Give people an idea as far we hear the term more than ever, social media. How do you incorporate that? And what are some of the things that are more effective, you say, in social media and what's not?
I think social media is huge, regardless, I think, what demographic you're in, what age range you're in. It's definitely how people seem to connect these days. And in real estate, it's about connecting and having that relationship with people. So if they're able to connect with you on social media, then that is a great platform to begin to build that relationship and continue a relationship, because they can see what you're doing and what you're involved with, and they have something to connect and relate with you on. And so I think that's a huge factor. And with a lot of my clients, they're on my social media. They see if I'm traveling, they see if I'm listing a new house. They may see something new in a different area, different market, and they message me and say, hey, what's going on with this? Or we're thinking about buying in about 6 months from now. What have you seen? And so it's just a great platform to connect.
Or a question might be, is the house really that nice? Is it as good as it looks on your pictures, right? They want to know the real deal, right?
They do. They want to know, where is it located and what is it listed for?
There you go. No doubt about it. So let's tell people, as far as the first-time buyers, you run into first-time buyers a lot?
I do. I love first-time buyers. They're so fun. It's so exciting for them. And honestly, it's where you feel like you can add a lot of value for them, because it's their first time doing it. So there's a lot that they don't know yet. So to be able to educate them and give them the knowledge that they need to purchase their first home is very gratifying.
So your coaching there really comes in a major way to help people, the first-time buyers. No doubt about that, huh?
Exactly.
So if you were to guess, here we are, 2020, how do you prepare for next year? Certainly you're going to be busy for the next couple months, wrapping things up, getting ready, but how do you get ready? You seem like a very organized person with the accounting experience, the marketing, the big smile, all that. How do you get ready for next year?
As I say, I think my accounting gives away my organization.
I saw as soon as you walked in the room, I said, she is organized.
Yes. When I think about that, I always like to lay out for my next year kind of just a template and outline of major goals and milestones, and what we want to accomplish. So back to the marketing standpoint, I usually like to have an outline of my marketing plan for the year. What items I want to have out to my clients, at what dates, what milestones. And so my assistants and I get together and we map out what we need to do to make sure we hit the timelines that we need to.
Setting goals. You said that before. I was thinking right before you said the word goals, Diana, that you're setting goals, no question. So let's tell people, before we close out the segment, what else do you want them to know? And let's tell them how they can reach you.
What else I want them to know? I think the Heights is an absolutely wonderful area. I've been there for the last 7 years. I've personally seen the growth and the transformation. There's so many things that you can walk to, places you can go. It's absolutely great. How they can reach me if they want to come move to the Heights. They can reach me on my cell phone. They can reach me by email. They can reach me on social media. My cell phone's 281-839-9335, and they can come by our office on 19th Street. We're always open when there's events on 19th Street, so they can pop in and say hello in person.
Does your house have a porch?
My house has a balcony, but not a porch.
Same thing in my book. You can call Diana Dow with Circa Real Estate simply by calling 281-839-9335. Thank you, Diana, for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Cyber criminals are on the offensive. In real estate, the average loss of a wire fraud scheme is $130,000. How do we fight these risks? Establish a good defense. At Stewart Insurance, we believe there are two sides to a formidable defense. Manage the risk, offset the risk with insurance. Concerned if your insurance is offsetting the cyber risk? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if you are properly insured. Connect with us at stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827, 866-798-2827. And here we go. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am still your host, Bill Nampick, and now we're going to talk a little bit about law right now. Thais Talawi and Saeed Talawi. Hey, guys, welcome to the show.
Hi, Bill. Thanks for having us.
It is awesome. Move over, Perry Mason and Saul Goodman. We have real estate attorneys right here in the house, right?
Yes.
That is correct.
Doing incredible work every day. Let's tell people about your practice.
Absolutely. Well, Bill, thank you so much for having us. We are Thais and Saeed Talawi with Amaral Talawi Law. We are a local husband and wife-owned real estate firm in the Heights on 19th Street, and we focus on estate and business planning. Our clients are individuals, families, real estate investors, and the owners of privately held and family-owned businesses. And we are basically an asset structuring and wealth transfer firm. Thais is our estate planning attorney. She does wills and trusts and other estate matters. And I basically do two things. I set up business entities like LLCs and corporations, and then I help my clients buy and sell businesses and investment real estate.
You are in such fertile ground in the Heights. I could probably say that about any place in Houston, but when I think about all the things going on, all the ways that you're helping your clients, there's a lot going on. I think you're in like the perfect place, you think?
Absolutely. We love it, especially 19th and 20th Street as major commercial thoroughfares that are developing, yes.
That is awesome. When we think about attorneys, there's so many, first of all, as we were mentioning in the real estate transaction, there are so many details. And to be attorneys, there are so many details that you work with and have to have command of in whatever way you're helping people, right?
That's correct.
So how do you keep that in check, and how do you stay current with all the things that are ever changing in the legal world?
Absolutely. So first of all, we are required to have continuing education credits. So we do a lot of school, even though we are lawyers. So we're constantly learning of what's being updated and what's happening that's new. And then for us, personally, at our law firm, we're very organized. We have processes for everything that we do. We have checklists so that whenever we are in a real estate transaction or in a probate or a creation of a trust, that we are making sure that every single step is getting done.
And I believe you. People may not see you unless they tune into the YouTube video, but you said that like you really mean it. You have a checklist. Checklists are very important in all parts of real estate and law.
Yes, I'm a big believer in checklists.
I love the checklist. Saeed, let's tell people some of the other things that are happening in the world of the Heights and the things that you're helping people with.
Absolutely. Well, the Heights is a very exciting place. We moved to the Heights personally in 2015, and then we moved our office in 2017, and we feel like we're really in the heart of the action. And if you go outside even for a minute, you'll see, all kinds of construction, a lot of mixed-use developments and multifamily. And so, there's always confidence in what Houston is doing.
I think some of the things that we see that we're really excited about are, new businesses popping up. Like Saeed said, we're on 19th, so we really have a passion for kind of, talking about it and getting it going. So, one of the things that I'm excited about, it's at 1122 19th, and it's a dog park bar. So we have dogs, and this is going to be a boarding and bar, so you can bring your dogs and have a drink and hang out, and it's almost a block on the 19th strip, and it's
Now,
really
is this
exciting.
not open yet, but it's going
It's
to
under,
open?
Yep, under construction. They're working on it. And then just next to Tarco, which is on the 700 block of 19th, we have another retail going up. It's going to be called Heights Central. We love seeing those things coming in and what types of businesses are going to be moving into those spaces.
Well, when I mentioned the idea of being, as far as your business being in fertile ground right there at the Heights in Houston, Texas, this is also this whole area, because of all the people I think that are moving to the area. This is fertile ground for new ideas, like you're mentioning the dog bar and resort. It kind of sounds like. I mean, that's why one of the fun parts of being here in Houston, to see these new business ideas and the zillion restaurants that are opening up all the time too, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and Houston has not traditionally been a very, pedestrian or bike-friendly city, but I think the Heights presents a unique opportunity, and there are bike trails in the Heights, and I think people are just more familiar with, people out there on foot walking their dogs, and when you see these new developments coming, a lot of the attention that they're paying is to the street side of the development. They're putting in big sidewalks, nice trees, benches. And so I think that is one of the things that makes the Heights appealing, is that you can come here and feel like you're in a small town, but you can still see downtown from almost anywhere that you are.
That is right. There are super views that abound in the Heights, and a lot of those views are of downtown.
Absolutely.
They're awesome. Let's tell people, Saeed, of all the things we think about what people do every day, you are an attorney. Your wife is an attorney. But I want to first ask you, what is it about being an attorney that struck you that you said, this is going to be my path?
Sure. Well, that's a very interesting question, Bill. So my path as an attorney has kind of changed. When I was growing up, I can kind of think back to when I was about 9 years old, and that's when I really wanted to be a lawyer. But at that time, I really viewed myself in a black suit with a red tie in the courtroom, advocating for people. And first couple of years out of law school, I did do some litigation work, but I found that really wasn't what I enjoyed the most. And what I really loved was working with small business owners and helping them kind of protect themselves from that type of thing. And the real estate, I've been doing this now as a lawyer and real estate broker actually for the past 12 years. And so real estate has always been something that I loved, and it was always what I gravitated toward, regardless of what I thought I wanted to do at the time.
And as I'm looking at your card, people may not pick up on the spelling. Your name is Talawi, and the word law is right in there in the name. Thais, let me ask you the same question. What is it about being an attorney? Why did you want to be an attorney? And then when did you meet Saeed? Law school?
Yeah, we met in law school. So I had a similar path. When I was 12, I knew a man who was an attorney. I took an interest for what he did, and he really mentored me. He would bring me books, and so, I kind of followed a path that I knew I wanted to go down. And Saeed and I met in law school.
Oh, nice.
I was in my first year. He was in his third year, and I snatched him.
How about that? Little did you know. How about that? The path that you would get married and then have a practice together. What an awesome story.
It really is.
We're so happy for you. So let's tell people anything we should know about real estate law that's changed. Maybe there's a lot, but just maybe one or two things. As far as real estate goes, we think about things are ever changing. What about the law in real estate? Any things that we should know about that are highlights?
Sure. A couple of things. One of the beauties about real estate is that it is consistent and predictable, and investors and lenders can rely on real estate being the same year after year. Although there are changes, with the kind of the political landscape that we have, there's certainly some tax changes that are applicable. I don't want to bore everyone to death, but I'd say that the taxation of real estate is a little bit more favorable now than it has been in many years. One more recent change that is relevant to sellers of real estate is that the seller's disclosure form has been updated as of September.
Are there more pages?
I don't think there are more pages, but you do now have to disclose whether a home has been flooded.
Right.
And so that is very relevant here in Houston, and not so relevant in the Heights, as one of your prior guests said, because we don't flood, because we're at a higher elevation than most of the city.
Well, I would still recommend flood insurance, because I don't trust the heavy rains, because you just never know where they might dwell. And we've had, there's been places that have never flooded before. That does happen. Saeed, let's remind people real quick before the segment is up, the things that you help people with and how they can reach out to you.
Absolutely. I do. I set up business entities for real estate investors and business owners, and then I help my clients buy and sell companies and investment real estate. And people can find us.
They can find us at doitforthem.org. We believe that the work that we do is guided by our clients' love for people and causes, and so they do it for them. Find us there.
That's easy to remember. Doitforthem.org. Thais Talawi and Saeed Talawi, thank you guys for being on the show. And I want to go to the Heights and see your place soon. We're coming right back with even more. Stay with us. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. And here we go, wrapping up the show. I want to say that we have had great guests today. We always do, and we count on our business development people that are all over Houston. Stewart Title, just Google whatever area you are in, and you will have a business development person today. Christina Sacco helped get the guest, and also he's right here by the microphone. His name is Bobby Magnus. He is developing business right there at 720 West 11th Street. Guess where that is? The Heights. Hey, Bobby, welcome to the show.
Appreciate it. Good to see you, Bill.
Super awesome. And let's tell people, you are right there at Stewart Title in the Heights, in the heart of all this action. Let's give people a little idea what's going on right there at the office.
I've been in the Heights for a little under a year, and just seeing the growth of the Heights has been, tremendous. It's always great to see, spots of Houston just grow as big as the Heights has.
And it really is, no doubt about it.
Yeah, for sure. We love that area, whether it be the restaurants in there, or just honestly, just the people around us have been great to us.
Let's tell people at your office there at West 11th Street, some of the closers that are there helping people every day at Stewart Title with real estate transactions. You have a few A-plus team members right there.
We do. So in that office, we do commercial and residential. Residential closers, Kendra Wessel. She's amazing. Very funny. Everyone loves her.
And she's been on the show not that long ago.
And then my commercial closer is Kay Street, who has been in the industry for 40-plus years, knows all the ins and outs of commercial real estate.
She really does. Well, Bobby, let's tell people how they can reach out to you. I think people right now are saying, I want to close over there with Bobby at the Heights at Stewart Title. How can they reach you?
So my email's Bobby.Magnus, that's Magness at Stewart.com. And my number, 713-625-8700. That's our main line, and you can just ask for me personally.
Bobby Magnus. And now, thank you, Bobby, for being on the show. And thank you, Christina, for putting some of these guests together. And now he is here, John Bramblett with Stewart Insurance. John, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Bill.
So there you are. Wow, what a show, John. I'm overwhelmed.
Fantastic show.
I don't know what else to say.
Well, 296. It was maybe the best one we've had.
Holy smokes. Each show gets better. John, let's tell people what you're thinking about today before we wind up the show here.
Sure. Just for our real estate broker friends, realize the fact that all the things that we have going on in the world today, and the fact that, we need to make sure that they're protected and that they're confident in their insurance and that they feel like that their businesses are protected so they can do all the great work that we've heard about today. So consider things like professional liability insurance or cyber liability insurance. And if they're not confident that they have the right insurance to protect their company, to visit with their insurance provider to ensure that the plan that they have in place does cover them in case of something unfortunate happening.
There's no question about it. The real estate broker right now has to think about even more things. And one of them, as we talked about, and it's a recurring theme in the Wall Street Journal, the cybercrime and real estate. We have another upcoming show on cybercrime coming up. So there's a lot that they have to think about and to protect themselves in this climate of excitement in Houston and in all that.
Well, I think the question that I would ask our real estate broker friends to think about is, do your employees have a laptop or a cell phone? Do you provide your employees a laptop or a cell phone? Do your employees drive out to meet clients? Do you capture and store consumer data? Does your business have an online presence? Do you have an e-portal? Do you store papers and records? And if you answer yes to any of those, you need to really consider cyber insurance.
You really need to think about that in all the areas of exposure. Even the other thing last week I'm remembering, as far as even driving people around in your car.
Absolutely.
All sorts of things.
Absolutely. There are all kinds of situations that can make a real estate broker vulnerable. And, people in today's world sue because of how you make them feel. I felt like you took advantage of me. I felt like you didn't give me the best deal. I felt like you said something bad about me on social media and it embarrassed me. So you need to make sure that you have that professional liability insurance. So if you are sued by a buyer, that you have some defense coverage.
No question. The climate is exciting economically right here in our fourth largest city, but it's brought forth some new potential perils out there. If someone wants to reach out to you, John, what should they do? And also, I want to mention, too, not only can they find out about these layers of protection that you offer at Stewart Insurance, but also you give classes at a variety of places, including real estate offices, right?
Absolutely. So we provide continuing education classes for our real estate partners, both classes of benefit for the broker and the real estate agents as well. Everything from what the liability issues are, kind of an intro to insurance for the real estate world, and then we have a class on the two sides of water talking about flood and water damage. They can reach us at 866-798-2827, 866-798-2827, or Stewart Insurance at stewart.com.
The number again, just for the fun of it, is
866-798-2827.
Thank you so much, John Bramblett. He is back. Bill Baldwin, Boulevard Realty. Bill, before we close out the show, what else would you like people to know about? And let's tell them again how they can reach you.
The world's full of disruptions. There's mergers, there's acquisitions, there's new entry into our real estate market because it is so good. You're getting iBuyers and all sorts of entities that are creating confusion. You need a trusted partner, someone with experience that knows what they're doing. Research people and what they've done in the past. That's pretty indicative of what they'll do in the future. So we'd love to help you at Boulevard Realty. You can reach us at 713-862-1600 or at our website, yourblvd.com.
The number again is?
713-862-1600.
And about that political race.
Yeah, and check out baldwinforhouston.com if you're interested in my race. Check out my ABCs and see if we can't bring common sense and community to City Hall.
I bet you do a great job. baldwinforhouston.com. And now she is back. Thank you, Bill. Glenda Winburn, Porch Light Realtors. Glenda, as we're winding things up, sitting on the porch with our dogs, maybe a glass of wine, meeting a few new neighbors, what else should we know?
I think that if you are interested in the Heights, we'd love to have you as a neighbor. Shop local, learn local, and find a representative that's local because we know the area. You can reach me at Porchlight Realtors, 713-539-5906. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Porchlight Realtors. You'll find us.
Are you running for any office?
I am not running for any office.
Sounds like you don't want to. People can easily remember Porchlight Realtors, Glenda Winburn, and now Thais, Talawi, and Saeed. I guess you'll be the ambassador here, Thais. What else should we know before we close things out?
Well, we always say this, get professional help. Make sure you're working with a qualified...
People say that to me all the time, but...
Make sure you're working with a qualified agent, and then if problems arise in your transaction, after your transaction, please call us. We can help. And stop by our office. Come visit us on 19th. We'll show you the Heights.
And you know what? The Heights is a friendly place. People listen far and wide, not just in Houston. And I bet that might be a reason for someone to take a trip to Houston. You think?
I think so.
How can they reach you?
They can reach us at 832-295-0770 or at our website, doitforthem.org.
Doitforthem.org. And Thais, should people be sad that the show is ending at the time of broadcast?
I don't think so.
That's right, because it never really ends. They can always go to stewart.com/Houston. That's right. You can hear any and all the shows except show number 1. However, stewart.com/Houston. Want to thank Christina Sacco doing tremendous work assembling guests every week. Almost, it seems like. You can call her at 713-625-8626. Bobby Magnus right there at 11th Street in the Heights with incredible closers right there at Stewart Title. Stewart.com/Houston. Thank you so much for listening. Big things are ahead. Dr. Ted C. Jones, the 8th wonder of the real estate world, going to be giving his forecast in December. Uptown Houston. We have the Uptown Houston District guys and so much more. Until next week, Stewart.com/Houston. Thank you, everyone. I think I'm going to vote for Bill. What about you, Christina? All right. Until next week, we'll see you then.